free without hear this. There are some things that need not hit the airwaves until it's time. Even this word, I wrote it years ago, but had no idea. Like I said, it was for you, but had I thought in my own natural mind, I would have preached it to the last 10 or 12 folks that I had in my church at the time as I was closing it. But it wasn't for them. It was for now, and it was for you. So when we look at this, understand that whenever there is a move, the enemy is strategizing. I'm going to say that again, and I'm about to get to the strategies. Whenever there is a move, the enemy is strategizing. Let me help you from a coach's standpoint. I'm kind of fortunate right now, being that I coach middle school football. It doesn't take up too much of my time. But those of my friends who are high school football coaches, what they do on a Sunday is they sit literally from about 10 in the morning to about 4 in the afternoon studying the film of the opponent that they are going to play the next week. When they do that, what they are doing is looking for tendencies. They're looking for different things that the opponent is going to do to be able to prepare their team to respond to. Essentially, can I tell you, that's the same exact thing that the enemy, right now, while we're sitting in this sanctuary, is doing to you in this particular season. He's looking at your tendencies from time past. He's looking at the things that have tempted you in times past. He's looking at all those things, and he's gathering his imps and saying, hey, Sean likes that. Send it his way. Up, he got a little bit of a temper. Test him with that. Are you here? So you have to not be ignorant of the devices of the devil to where you understand you got to now have a strategy for him too. So with that, in this season that we are walking in of manifesting a new thing, I'm going to give you quickly, if I can, 15 strategies. Walk with me. Some of them I'm going to talk about. Some of them I'm just going to throw it at you because you already know what it is. Strategy number 1, be sanctified. What does that mean? That means be set apart. I know in religious circles, it means do everything right, wear a long dress, help me shoot a Honda, all those different, that's not being sanctified. Being sanctified simply means, those are fruits of it, but let me say this, it simply means being set apart for God's use. It simply means, God, I am available for you to use me. When you set yourself apart, what begins to happen is you find yourself doing things that you didn't do before. You find yourself not wanting to do the things that you used to do because you are now set apart for purpose. So when I become sanctified, it is a process that gets me to purpose. It is not a process that gets me to perfection because I'll never be perfect. I'm only perfect in him. But it is a process to get me to my purpose, to get me to the thing that I'm supposed to do here on earth. Let me help you with purpose. Purpose is not what you get to as your end destination. Purpose is who you are. And so who you are becomes divested into different avenues. It becomes divested into different lanes. What do you mean, Pastor Sean? I'll tell you right now. Okay, Pastor Sean, you are a fathering spirit, hear that, that speaks affirmation and confirmation to those you come in contact with. Does that mean I'm just a pastor? No. He divests me into being in the education system to be a father. He divests me into being into entrepreneurship to speak affirmation to people. Are you here? And see, some of us miss it because we are pigeonholed on one thing. And God, in his strategy for you, he may for a season want to use you somewhere else. For 16 years, he used me as a senior pastor. And then he said, you know what, I want you to leave that alone for right now. I'm going to still use you as a voice in a house. However, I want you to be over here in this education system. I want you to be on the radio and in television. I want you to do this over here with entrepreneurship, because the same voice that spoke in the pulpit is the same voice that speaks in those other places. Well, Pastor, I'm not in the pulpit. Yes, you are. You're in the pulpit every time you show up to work. For some folk, you're the only Bible they read. Okay. For some folks, watch this, you're the only church they go to. So I'm going to leave you real quick before I move on to this next strategy with this one question that I want you to ask yourself daily as you lay down. How was church today? Did you really set yourself apart to be used? Every morning, I pray a prayer. My prayer is this, and I'm going to teach you this. Lord, give me the wisdom and the strength to not just work out of my gift tank, but also work from my love tank. Because the combination of the two bring change. Many of us, when we show up to our jobs, all we do is work from our gift tank. Your job is part of your purpose. You may not like it, but it's part of your purpose. You have not figured it out yet why you're there, but you're there for a. And once you stop working at just your gift tank and start working from a place of love, guess what God will begin to do? He will begin to reveal to you why you're there. I don't have time to preach on that long. Let me move on. Strategy number 2. Y'all here? Be quiet. I don't mean right now, I need you to amen me. I'm an old-fashioned Baptist preacher. I need you to say amen, or I'm going to think you're not getting it. But I mean, in life, I need you to be quiet. How you doing? Fine. How's the family? Good. Are y'all here? Because sometimes we are victims of saying too much and releasing things in the atmosphere prematurely that we weren't supposed to release yet. And so what the enemy does is he takes that, oh, that's what they're doing. Here's another strategy, and you're wondering why there's blockage. Shut up. This next one is going to kind of hurt. Number 3. Sometimes God will allow things to be stopped to build what he really wanted to build. None of us have a monopoly on the movements of God. You know, that's why, Pastor, that's why church growth experts just really fascinate me. Because at the end of the day, none of us can control this. When God decides to breathe on a thing, he breathes on it. That's with anything, not just church. And so some of us are upset because God didn't do things how we expected him to do them or when we wanted him to do it. Sometimes he lets you get that out your system so he can do what he really wants to do. Are y'all here? Okay, let's move on. Strategy number 4. Cover your seeds that you plant. And you've heard this from several people within the last month. Do warfare. That simply means speak what you were told over the seed until it takes root. Okay? I'm not going to stay there long, but I'm going to say this. Understand, we are not playing patty cake with the devil. He is for sure out to steal, kill, and destroy. And he will allow you to have church all you want. He will allow you to go to as many prayer meetings as you want to go to. He will allow you to go to as many conferences as you want to go to. Get laid hands on as many times as you want to get laid hands on and fall out at the altar. But if you don't cover what God has given you, he has right to come in and take it. That's warfare. You got to cover it. You got to cover it in prayer. You got a marriage, you better cover it in prayer. You got children, you better cover them in prayer. Are you here? You got a business, you better cover it in prayer. That's why it's being attacked, because you're not covering it. We just take for granted that God is going to take care of it. No, you got to cover it. Okay. Watch this. What does a hen do after it lays eggs? Does it just leave? No. It sits on those eggs until they manifest. With everything God gives you, that's what you got. You got to have the spirit of a hen. You got to sit on it and cover it. You got to pray over it. You got to nurture it. You got to take care of it until it comes to fruition. Your marriage, what did you see when you first put the ring on her finger? Because you was in love and the butterflies was there then. But what did y'all see together? Oh, y'all here. That's what you got to cover now. What was the purpose? See, this is what the enemy is attacking. He's attacking purposes. He wants you to be on a hamster wheel. So the reason why I'm even going through this, because y'all are really looking at me, the reason why I'm going through this with you right now is because I can preach to you about a new season manifesting all I want. If you don't know how to take care of what God has given you, you're going to lose it in the new season too. The enemy is after your purpose. He don't want your money because he can't spend it. He doesn't want your house because he can't live in it. He ain't worried about your car. He just know you like it. He don't want your children because they bad too. No, I'm just playing. But what he wants is your purpose. He wants you to not see it. Because if you don't see it, then what happens is you don't become the manifested glory on the earth that God desires. And then in turn, God doesn't get the glory. So what is the enemy after? What is the enemy after? Thank you. Your purpose. Okay. So strategy 5 goes with strategy 4. Do not be deceived. Warfare is real. Strategy 6. Let me move on because I'm running out of time. Goes with what I just said. Cover what you have until it's time. Strategy number 7. Watch this. You cannot afford to walk openly. What do you mean, Pastor? Walking openly means doing whatever you want to do. This is not the season for that. Why? Because you're going to open doors over yourself when you get into things that you don't know what you're doing with. What do you mean? I'm going to prove it right now. We are in a time period now where there is a lot of mixture. What do you mean? There are a lot of things in modern culture that mixes, whether we know it or not, sorcery with spirituality. Watch this. I say it this way. Dark spirit with light spirit. Can I say it that way?